Welcome back. You're watching breaking news here at CNN News 18. Our next story takes us down to Jharkhand, where Chief Minister Hemant Soren continues to be in a serious space. The ECI has sent a report to the governor of Jharkhand on the Chief Minister. The opinion will be binding of the governor. The governor is then going to notify the order on Soren. Remember, the Jharkhand governor is Ramesh Bayas, and he was in a 3-day visit to the national capital. That visit came at a time when the Supreme Court restrained the Jharkhand High Court from proceeding with PIL seeking a probe against the Chief Minister, who has been accused of granting himself a mining lease as the state's mining minister. This is a controversy that's been going on for a few weeks now. This development now coming in, as we've just shared with you. My colleague, our political editor, Maria Shakil, is with us right now to bring us more details. Maria, if you could just explain to our audiences, because this is a piece of news that the Chief Minister's office surely expected for a few days now. Could you bring us more context on how they're possibly reacting?
So, no, it's too early to really come to conclusion as to what's really there in that sealed envelope which has been sent by the Election Commission to the governor's office. The governor will then be informing the Assembly Speaker in case if it is violation of the Representation of People's Act, which means if the Chief Minister will be disqualified based on the nature of allegations that were there against him. Remember, that recommendation will be coming now to the governor, because the entire process begins from the governor's office. The governor prima facie found him as violating the Representation of People's Act, and that is the reason why the case had reached the Election Commission. And in the Election Commission, it has been found that after the hearing got over on 18th, it was only a matter of time that a report would be submitted. Now, in a sealed envelope, the Election Commission has sent its report to the governor's office in Jharkhand, and thereafter there are options that are available before the Chief Minister in case of an adverse judgment. Remember, last week Hemant Soren had held a meeting in which all the members of the UPA, the Congress, the RJD MLAs were present in that meeting to look at possible scenarios post an adverse judgment. Post this, in case there is an adverse judgment, sources in the Chief Minister's office are telling us that he will be approaching the Supreme Court, because the last week, if you remember correctly, the Supreme Court had reserved its judgment and had also instructed that in the Jharkhand High Court, if there are PILs that are related to the mining lease, that should not be taken up for further hearing. So trouble for Hemant Soren certainly. What is the nature of the recommendation that has come from the Election Commission, which has been sent to the governor, is something that we'll have to wait and see. In case if he is disqualified as an MLA, which means that he has to resign immediately as the Chief Minister, who takes over as the Chief Minister in that interim period, he has to seek election again. There are several political scenarios that will be developing in the next 24 hours, depending on what the ECI has told the governor in that sealed envelope.
Maria, could you just break down for our audiences in layman's terms, what are the allegations that stand against the Chief Minister? Yes,
so the allegations against the Chief Minister is that there is an office of profit here in case, that his family were direct beneficiaries of the mining lease that was given while he was the mining minister. So as the minister in charge of that portfolio, he was someone who was allocating mining leases, and it came to members close to his family. So there is a clear case of office of profit, clear case of violation of Representation of People's Act, where his duties and responsibilities as the minister in charge have been compromised. And that is the reason why this entire petition had been filed, which the governor, put it up before the Election Commission. In case if Hemant Soren is found guilty, which means that if he is an accused in the entire mining case, which means that he cannot really continue in office, he will be his position as an MLA becomes untenable, and he will be disqualified as a member of Legislative Assembly of Jharkhand. Going ahead, it means that he will have to step down in case if it is an adverse judgment. We are yet to get the details of the adverse judgment or the nature of the judgment from the governor's office, because the governor will be informing the assembly speaker, and it is the assembly speaker who will be going ahead and informing the chief minister's office that whether he can continue as an MLA or whether he cannot continue as an MLA.
Maria, I also want to ask you, one of the stopgap solutions that's been discussed over the last few days is possibly Hemant Soren's wife or his brother taking his role. Would that smoothen over the controversy and the crisis for a few days?
There is a view certainly that his wife could, take the chief minister's chair till the time he seeks re-election from the constituency. Because if he is disqualified as an MLA, then he has little options. The state of Jharkhand is not a bicameral legislature that he can get himself elected from the legislative council. So options before Hemant Soren are very limited. But in case if he is found to be an accused or guilty of office of profit and violation of Representation of People's Act 9A, which essentially would mean that going forward, there would be other cases that will be mounting against the chief minister. Because only today we heard about the arrest that has happened of his close aide, Prem Prakash, by the Enforcement Directorate. So as far as the challenges for the chief minister is concerned, that certainly is increasing. But in case if he has been disqualified or if he has not been disqualified, all that will come to light only after the speaker is told from the governor's office as to what will be the way forward. Will the chief minister continue because he is an MLA, or whether he is not an MLA, based on if the charges have been found to be violation of Representation of People's Act.
Okay, Maria, stay with us. My colleague Arunima is also with us to bring us more details. Arunima, there were reports that the governor over the weekend was in Delhi meeting with high leaders in the BJP. Could you confirm and give us more details there? All right, my colleague Arunima, we'll try to re-establish our connection with her. Both Arunima and Maria Shakil are both giving us details. We have CP Singh from the Jharkhand BJP. He's with us right now to bring us his first perspective on this. Sir, अभी हमारे पास ये जानकारी आया है, गवर्नर का जो डिसीजन होगा उसके लिए हम अभी रुके हुए हैं. सर, आपकी इस डेवलपमेंट पे क्या प्रतिक्रिया है?
देखिए, प्रतिक्रिया का जहाँ तक सवाल है तो सवाल ये है कि मामला इलेक्शन कमीशन में गया हुआ है और इलेक्शन कमीशन को निर्णय सुनाना है. अब इलेक्शन कमीशन कौन सा निर्णय सुनाती है, वो हेमंत सोरेन जी के पक्ष में सुनाती है या विपक्ष में सुनाती है, उसके बाद ही कानूनी प्रक्रिया के तहत कोई भी कार्रवाई होगी. लेकिन पहले क्या होगा नहीं होगा ये अटकलें लगाना मेरे दृष्टि से उचित नहीं है. इसलिए हम लोग को थोड़ा इंतजार करना चाहिए, क्योंकि मामला इलेक्शन कमीशन का है, उसके पाले में गेंद है. तो इलेक्शन कमीशन वो भी निर्णय लेगी तो कानून के तहत ही निर्णय लेगी. तो हम लोगों को उस पर धैर्य रखना चाहिए और आगे देखना चाहिए क्या होता है.
ऑलराइट सर, हम आपसे यहाँ पे एक आखिरी प्रश्न ये पूछना चाहते हैं. सर, अगर हमने जेएमएम की तरफ से देखा कि हेमंत सोरेन ने अपनी बीवी, अपनी पत्नी को इस पोजीशन पे डाला, सर भाजपा का अगला प्लान क्या है इस पे?
नहीं, देखिए, मेरा ये कहना है कि जेएमएम के पास महागठबंधन का, उनके पास आज के दिन ज्यादा संख्या है विधायकों की, वो पूर्ण बहुमत से भी ज्यादा है. तो वैसी स्थिति में वो पत्नी को बनाए कि माँ को बनाए कि पिताजी को बनाए या किसी को भी बना सकते हैं, उनके दल का ही बनेगा. तो ऐसी स्थिति में फिर आगे देखेंगे क्या भाजपा करेगी. लेकिन आज के दिन भी कहें तो बहुमत तो उनके पास है, तो बहुमत के अनुसार वो किसी को भी बना सकते हैं. लेकिन ये अटकलें पहले लगाना मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. मेरा कहना है कि आगे देखिए होता है क्या, क्योंकि क्या है कि अभी तो मामला का जो है वो चुनाव आयोग के पास लंबित है. चुनाव आयोग उस पर जो फैसला देगा उसके बाद क्या होगा ये तो आगे की बात है. फिलहाल तो इस पर अटकलें लगाना किसी दृष्टि से उचित नहीं प्रतीत होता.
सीपी सिंह जी, हमारे साथ अभी जुड़ने के लिए धन्यवाद. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ब्रिंगिंग अस योर ओपिनियन.